Hey everyone, this is Turk182
and Wallcrawler One.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of In the Gutters. So this is exciting times here. We're post DC fandom. They dropped all those really cool trailers of all those movies and stuff they're gonna plan on like releasing, but they didn't talk about all the comics they were going to be canceling.
I didn't get a chance to ask you, did you watch the Batman
Trailer?
Yeah.
No.
You still didn't watch it, even after...
I told you I'd try. I did try.
I'm going to make you watch it before the night's over.
No.
I will play it in front of you.
I actually heard that if you watch the Batman trailer, you will actually get COVID.
Pattinson did.
I know. That's why I'm just kind of...
Well, I'm going to do like Clockwork Orange thing where I'm going to have your eyes open with the eye drops and stuff. Just like your other show you got there I won't mention.
Yeah. Just like that. Yeah, it's transmitted through the radio station, like kind of like The Ring, you know, just...
Can I say this, though? Just
sure.
To be fair. Like, Keaton... Did you really think Keaton was a great choice when you first heard it? You thought that was kind of like... I mean, he's not a big guy. He's not like athletic. You wouldn't have thought that he could have pulled off, and he did.
You know what? And this is the God's honest truth. When I heard that Michael Keaton was playing Batman, it was when the movie came out. I knew nothing about I knew nothing about a Batman movie being made. I barely even knew who Michael Keaton was. So it didn't. I know that apparently at the time that there was like a lot of controversy about it. A lot of people were like, "There's no way," but I didn't know who he was, and then the movie came out, and that's the first I'd heard of it.
So why can't you do that for Pattinson? Why can't you just pretend like you don't know who he is?
That's a lot of pretending. That's a lot of pretending.
Have you ever seen the movies? I've never watched the Twilight movies either, but like, you haven't seen one of them?
I haven't. No.
So I mean, well, that was just how he started. Maybe he always wanted to do this.
Oh well, maybe he always did want to do it. Keanu Reeves always wanted to play Wolverine, but that didn't happen. He's a much better actor than Pattinson.
Actually, they're talking about that now.
He's too old. He's too tall.
Yeah, I always thought he was too tall.
Hugh Jackman was too tall, but I guess that didn't really matter.
Movie magic.
The thing is, Pattinson, the picture I've seen of him with his sleepy ass eyed self, he may be a really good actor. Everyone says The Lighthouse is really good. I haven't watched it yet, but it's got Willem Dafoe in it, so it can't be all that bad. And there was a couple other things he was in, and in Tenet, which is not doing very well at all. Like, it's gotten some really bad reviews for a Nolan movie. And something about the sound being all muddled I keep hearing about. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but he's in that.
See, I have no interest in Tenet at all. I don't care. It's like whatever.
You know, what's interesting is I saw this article that said, like Nolan said that Pattinson never asked him about Batman when filming Tenet. And it's like, why would he? Why would he ask him? He has nothing to do with the movie. He's already done his stuff and run his course. Whatever the take is on the Batman, which was Matt Reeves, whatever his take is on the Batman, has nothing to do with Nolan, and it's different from that. So why would you even ask him, like, so what are your thoughts on this? Or what would you do? It doesn't matter. It's not my movie. Do whatever the hell you want.
I heard Pattinson, like, when he was auditioning, like, he had to lie to Nolan to, like, audition for the Batman while he was on Tenet because he had to leave for a day.
Really?
And, like, he's like, you went for the Batman, didn't you? He's like, but the studio told him they didn't want to tell the guy that did the other Batman movies for him that he was going to try for it. It's like, that's weird, isn't it?
It is. It's kind of stupid too. Like, no, don't tell me you're going for the Batman. It's like, why is he still sore about something? Didn't he tell this trilogy?
Yeah,
like that really shitty ass last one. God, that's so bad. I mean, if you thought that like my Dark Phoenix rant was bad, then jeez whiz. No, I'm sorry. It was the Apocalypse rant, and we actually did a Let's Watch of Dark Phoenix on the other podcast. But anyway,
so did you watch that? So you watched Dark Phoenix, but you won't watch Batman.
We watched Dark Phoenix because it was on and we had been drinking. And
so if I can get you drunk, I can get you to watch. Okay,
if you get me
get you drunk and watch the Batman.
There's a lot of things.
It's good, man. It's even got like the. I'm just gonna say, like, to people listening, I think it shows a lot of promise. I mean, it could I mean, it's just like anything. It could suck. But, like, just from what I saw of it, I thought, hey, it could probably work.
We're going to give him a try, but we can't keep Ben Affleck on.
Well, he's gonna be in the Flash movie apparently, and maybe some other movies after that. Like
I heard it was just the Flash.
It's just I think they're trying to talk him into some more.
Well, so. I mean, I'm biased. I'm biased towards Ben Affleck. Everybody knows that.
I like him.
Everybody knows. I'll fight a person in the street for talking shit about Ben Affleck. Well, to a certain point, that's a whole nother conversation. You can check out older episodes of Our Mom's Secret Funny if you want to learn about that. But anyway. We are not here to talk about Ben Affleck or Twilight Boy or anything else that's out there. We are here to talk about... what are we here to talk about?
Amalgams?
Amalgams, yes. Amalgams. So amalgams are... Aren't those little like things that you... like that they found using the the Hadron Collider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like... if you found anything smaller than amalgam, then it disproved Einstein's theory of relativity, and all society would collapse because we don't understand the world anymore.
I will mess with time. I will mess with time. So amalgam. So going back to DC, Marvel DC All Access, for those of you that aren't that old or don't remember that or were really disappointed by it, and it's like, why are you bringing that up? And it's like, said. Why don't you give me a paper cut and score some nice lemon juice in it? So amalgam was this thing that Marvel and DC did where it was Marvel versus DC, and they were fighting. They had these really crappy one-sided fights that didn't make any sense at all. And in the end, this guy, so there's apparently a character, I shouldn't say apparently, there's a character that is owned by both Marvel and DC, and his name is Access. And he's got a real name, but I don't really give a shit what his real name is. And he can bridge both worlds. So because of what they were doing, my understanding is that Marvel and DC both own him. And you guys can like look some of this stuff up, as far as how that all was supposed to work. Because apparently when everything was all said and done, Black Cat was supposed to be in the DC universe and Catwoman was supposed to be in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
That was kind of how things were. Anyway, so this guy ends up making a bridge between the two universes. And of course, that's what causes to bring them together to start fighting, because they're like, it's just one of those stupid like hero fights where everyone misunderstands the other person. But after everything was all said and done, then somehow the worlds got merged, and you had some really freaky combinations. And this is going to what I was talking to you about before, which like I kept trying to put like with like, and it didn't really make any sense while I was doing that.
Yeah.
Because you had like comic books. They're all one-shot books. You had with Spider-Boy, which was Superboy and Spider-Man. Then you had Bullets and Bracelets, which was Frank House the Punisher and Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Speed Demon, which was Wally West and Ghost Rider. They were just been merged together. Bullets and Bracelets, they were actually two individual people. As were Speed Demon, they were actually one person. Doctor Strange Fate. Legend of Darkclaw, which is the Wolverine Batman one.
That's the one I remember.
They also had Adventures of Darkclaw. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like the Batman animated version of that. Lobo the Duck, which is Lobo and Howard the Duck. Iron Lantern, Green Lantern, and Iron Man. Someone really wasn't that great. Super Soldier, which was Captain America and Superman, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was. Did that have Carrie Nord artwork in it?
I don't remember. I didn't get into him too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was like a one shot for each book. Legends of Darkclaw was actually drawn by Jim Ballant, I think. But I mean, they were decent. They weren't great. And then you had Spider-Boy and Legion of Superheroes. No, they may be called Legion of something else. Oh, you had the JLA X-Men one. I can't remember that one. For some reason, when I thought back to it, it was like only like 20, but then it was like a lot more than that. When I was like, oh wait, you had this one, you had that one, you had that. You had a ton of them.
Yeah, you named a bunch more than I even remember.
No, it was like a metal one type one. It was like JLX was the Justice League and X-Men, and then you had one that was kind of like the Metal Men. Anyway, they were interesting for what it was worth. But and of course you've heard us talk about the fights before and just how crappy they were, because you just had fights that didn't make any sense. Like, you can't put Namor up against Aquaman. That's not a good fight. You can't put Flash up against Quicksilver. No. It's Storm versus Wonder Woman. That's a crappy fight. Wolverine versus Lobo. That's a crappy fight.
Let me ask you, like, Aquaman versus Namor, you don't think that's a good fight?
Aquaman is so much more stronger than Namor.
You think so?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know.
Because Aquaman is almost in like the Superman range. Namor is nowhere near that.
I thought Namor was about that. I thought he was that powerful, man. I thought he was pretty powerful.
I never see Namor doing anything along those lines as far as like strength goes.
I don't see Aquaman taking on the Fantastic Four.
Well, that's because he doesn't live in that world.
But if he did, like, well, neither does Submariner. So, but Submariner takes on Fantastic Four and like kind of holds his own. I don't see why. I don't see Aquaman doing that.
I mean, I don't really think I've ever seen Submariner and the Fantastic Four fight. I've seen him kidnap Sue, or kidnap in air quotes, while she willingly goes off with this swarthy undersea man, and then they go down there and he's like, "Now you must fight my Atlanteans," which that's kind of like a dick move on his part. I agree. I get,
but he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I get that he's like half like human, half Atlantean, but he's like, I just have to have this one surface dweller, just this one. She's the only one I want. That would be like me, like being like the president of like Mexico and being like, I love my country. I will fight to death for my country, but I need me an Asian chick. That's really what would set it off. I had an Asian chick as like the first lady of Mexico. That'd just be right.
To be fair, we all need Asians.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's... but I'm just saying, like, that's so wrong for his people that are like, so what's wrong with us? You know, why can't you love one of us here? There's plenty of us down here. You know, this is why we're extinct. Well, so anyway, after those
a little blue about that. Oh
yeah, that's the other thing. All of his people are blue except for him.
He's a anti-cyanite.
It's like, you can't make those kind of jokes. That's crustaceous. And then when he has a cousin, he's like, "This is my cousin." Well, she's awfully pink, just like you.
You fleshy earth dweller. Why can't we all get along? It's so hard.
Anyway, so once it was all over with, all the things got kind of merged together as Access Guy, whatever the hell his name was. I mean, and I say whatever his name was because that has actually not to do with our podcast today. We're just giving a little bit of background here. All these people got merged together, then they all got split back apart. And again, I think what I read was originally that after it was all separated, like Black Cat was going to end up staying in the DC universe for a little while, and Catwoman was going to be in the Marvel universe for a little while. How long that swap was going to be, I don't know. They didn't do it, which is good because there was really nothing to be served by that. Like, you take two kind of low rate characters. I mean, at least Catwoman wrote her own book, but and I say low rate because I mean, she's Catwoman. She has a book and she does her thing, but she's not really big as far as like if you took her out of that universe, you wouldn't miss her.
Yeah.
You know, like how many times has she not had her own book? You know, it's like if you took Black Canary out of the DC universe, or she just didn't have a book for a while. Okay, and so it's like there really been nothing to be. Okay, you saw that, right?
I was kind of like thought of Black Canary and Green Arrow's relationship very similar. I mean, it's basically the exact same thing as like Hawkeye and Mockingbird.
Actually, I was thinking Bruce and Selena because since Green Arrow is basically the liberal version of Batman, if you can say that, you know, because I mean that's the whole thing with him. That both were rich kids who didn't have parents who decided they're going to crime fight. One embraced like the rich lifestyle, but then he turned his back on it all and was like, I don't care, and I'm going to go out and do this stuff. And then you've got the other one that like never, I guess, fully enjoyed it. But I mean, the comparisons like always been there. I think there's even a Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon episode where they're constantly comparing themselves, like, oh, I've got the Arrow car and you've got the Batmobile and I've got this, and they're constantly like competing with each other superhero wise.
Yeah. And Green Lantern or Green Arrow's favorite singer is Freddie Mercury.
What?
And Queen.
Ah, I missed that. See,
I know. I had to go there though.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Uh, Damien Hellstrom's favorite band is Styx.
Nothing really matters to me.
Oh, anybody can see that.
Yeah.
So anyway, all these things got merged, and so Wallcrawler One and I were talking, and we were like, hey, you know what would be kind of cool? It's like, what if we like merged some of our own people and came up with some new characters? You know, like they had theirs, and they were neat for what they were. Will say that I did like the Legend of Darkclaw, like his outfit and stuff was kind of cool. But what if we kind of merged some people together and made up our own characters? And so we did that, and then you also took it in a way where, because you said recently there was the Marvel kind of internal amalgam where they merged some people together, right?
Yeah, they did. And I can't specifically remember all of them, but like I know they did. I think it was Ghost Rider and Black Panther, and then it was Doctor Strange and Captain America. It was X-23, and was it
X-51?
No, it was something like sorcery or something. Can't remember who it was. Was it Alanya?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But it was something. It was something like with a demon or something. Anyway,
That'd be weird. Like Ilyana and X-23.
yeah, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I mean, I think there was like 3 or 4 of them. It was okay. Oh, they did Thor and Iron Man. I think they put Thor and Iron Man together.
Oh,
Yeah,
that seems weird.
that was a little weird.
You know what wouldn't be a bad thing would be Wolverine and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, that out of all of them, that was probably the one that I thought was like that I read.
What?
Was that? Huh?
What?
Didn't you say Doctor Strange and Captain America?
No, I said Wolverine and Doctor Strange.
Oh, Wolverine and Doctor Strange.
I think that'd be kind of interesting to have a team up like that. Just because you could, like, Doctor Strange's magic, and you got Wolverine's claws, so he could be more of a physical fighter in those other dimensions, and his claws could be, like, enchanted with, like, like, so instead of him having adamantium, maybe he's got the crimson bands of Sidorak or whatever, like, bonded to his skeleton.
They did a thing, an Aaron's run in Thor, where he had the Phoenix Force, and like he was kind of like at the end of times with Thor,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know if he had the cape or not, but like I don't know, it was interesting, kind of making him like an immortal like type character.
That would be interesting.
It was kind of neat. Did you want to do your amalgams? Like, did you want to start it off?
Yeah, we can. I was gonna say, you know what? Would be kind of cool is End of Days, like Blade and Wolverine. Because even though there's no people left, like Blade could just kind of like snack on Wolverine every once in a while.
You know, I never think of Blade as like living for. I guess that's true. He's a vampire, right? Like, so
Well, he's half vampire.
Yeah. Would he only have a half life?
Well, it depends. I don't. Well, see, he has to have his serum. So
Yeah.
Sorry, I love Wesley Snipes, right? I do. I love Wesley Snipes, but the way he says serum in the Blade movies, and it's like, you would do something for me, make me a better serum.
Isn't that who killed John Lennon? Serum?
No, you're thinking of Robert Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Serum shot Robert Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
In the hotel kitchen.
That's right.
So we came up with ours, and we thought, okay, this would be kind of cool. So I'll do one of mine. And instead of just limited to Marvel and DC, we kind of expanded it out to other companies. So I did one, and my character is called Hellion. Hellion is the combination of Etrigan and Hellboy.
Like it.
Yeah. So the origin I have for.
Does he talk in rhyme?
Not all the time.
Okay.
So the origin I have is that.
That rhymed, by the way.
I know, I didn't. Professor John Bloom was working for a group of people studying his occult and trying to find a way to the spiritual world, and he didn't realize though that he was actually working for Nazis. And he discovers that, then he doesn't want to work for him anymore. He tries to get away, and it doesn't work. And they gun him down, or they attack him and leave him for dead. And he ends up. I'm sorry, I said John Broom, but it's actually John Blood. And he ends up reading off a spell and binds his soul to that of this demon Hellion. So basically, it's kind of like the combination of that kind of like a Hellboy and Etrigan thing, but instead of it being Jason Blood from all those years, this guy ends up kind of combining his soul or binding his soul to this demon Etrigan, or I'm sorry, Hellion, who he then basically starts off in World War II. He's fighting Nazis and stuff.
Would he be yellow or red?
I really didn't think about it.
I think it'd be kind of cool to see him yellow.
It could be cool. I don't really have a problem with him being yellow. I mean, I didn't really think about it because I don't even know he wouldn't have the right hand of Doom, but the combination of the two of them, I'm not sure because Hellboy has that whole kind of samurai influence thing with him that obviously you're not going to have with the character now, so he's going to have a different kind of a look to him, but have some of that same characteristics of Hellboy, which is what makes him popular. So, it'd be interesting. But
I was just trying to reconcile in my head. I don't think I've ever seen Hellboy smile, and Etrigan always does. That'd be interesting to see Hellboy smiling.
The only time I've ever seen Hellboy smile was in the end of Golden Army,
and
that's really weird looking.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with my weakest one. I admit this is my weakest one. This is just two Marvel characters put together. U.S. Agent, and then meets up with Red Guardian, and I call it USS Ragent, like USSR, and it's kind of like a retro story where USSR is still around, and you have a case where the U.S. Agent's got to be over there, and he ends up having to don the Red Guardian's outfit and take on the forces of the bad guys, whoever that would be. But it's more just play on the name. I don't know. Like I said, it's my weakest one. I've always liked Johnny Walker, and I like Red Guardian, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to play with that. I mean, they got pretty much same skill set, strength and the shield. So I mean, I guess it's kind of the same character.
I mean,
weak sauce, but I mean, I thought it was funny.
It's pretty interesting, though. I mean, him taking on that role would be interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of neat.
It'd be funny if he was if he didn't realize that he was a dual agent. It was when he's in Russia, he's the Red Guardian, but he doesn't know that he's U.S. agent.
Yeah. Well, you could do a Manchurian Candidate type stuff with it. Messing with his head. That's the thing about Johnny Walker. He's he's messed up. He can be messed with, and he probably has been messed with. So that was kind of mine.
That's not bad. So I'll give you one of my weak ones, and I was trying to think of what I could do with this one. It's story wise, what would be a good story for him, and I really couldn't come up with one as far as the story goes. So, but I mean, the character exists. So whatever happens with him, well, he doesn't exist, but whatever happens with him happens with him. But anyway, it is Nuisance. Nuisance is a combination of the Impossible Man and Mixespitlik.
Those are two weird guys, man.
Yep.
That little hat would be sitting up high.
So we got, both of them have some kind of weird magical, or not magical, because it's just future world technology or other dimension technology. It's not magic at all. With Impossible Man, I don't really know what it is, but I don't think it's magic either. But they're both really powerful. They're from other planes of existence, and they're both pain in the asses.
Yeah, I can see it.
So you put them together in this kind of almost like slapstick.
Yeah.
Character, and then you've got Nuisance.
No, yeah, I can see that.
I was thinking about maybe you could do some kind of space story with Nuisance and Gnort, but I was like, No.
You always forget about him. He's funny.
The Green Lantern is not really a Green Lantern. That went around as a Green Lantern for like years until someone was like, "Wait a minute, where'd you get your ring from?"
I was rereading the issues of Justice League International where he was on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like they were searching for Scott Free because like he was on Apocalypse. They were trying to rescue him, and like it was the issues with Lobo,
Oh yeah.
and then like Nort, like Lobo's attacking him. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, I didn't get that far in the manual. He's like.
See, I never knew whether the G was silenced or if I should just call him Nort or if I should call him Good Nort just because he's so like ineffective that that he would probably pronounce his name like that, like Lloyd or something.
I don't know how to. You might be right. I
don't know. I always just took it that way because like I don't know. He's a horrible. I mean, he's a funny character, but he's a horrible character. So just real quick, you mentioned it. It's not a gift from DeMatteis, but did you read the Grant Morrison Justice League?
No.
There was an issue, and it might have been Morrison, but I'm thinking it was Wade. It was an issue where the team they had to put together kind of like a special team to go undercover, and they were going into Bilia. You remember the sorry, we're getting off kind of like on a bit of a tangent here, but you remember that issue or series of issues of Justice League International where it was Balia or whatever it was, where there's I think Blue Beetle. Was it Blue Beetle? Had been brainwashed because they had a mission over there, and he had been brainwashed and he didn't know it, and then like the Queen made a call and he answered it, and then she Manchurian candidate. He stabbed a couple people. I think he stabbed Maxwell Lord and tried to kill him. But anyway, so in this like later like Justice League story, what was it? I'm trying to think. I think it was maybe been Big Barda, Plastic Man.
This is the editor above all. Once again, Turk has the details of the story confused. This story takes place after the Gotham earthquake, and Batman asks the Justice League to investigate Bruce Wayne, who has been seen in Monaco gambling heavily.
But the coolest thing was and I'm thinking it was Big Barda was and I don't think it was Wonder Woman. That may have been. Anyway, they were going undercover and whoever it was, like I said, I think it's Barda, was in this really like really nice like evening dress. It was this like really tight, form-fitting red evening dress and had like this yellow stripe down the side.
And this is Big Barda?
Yeah.
That's why you liked it.
Well, no, here's the thing, and I think it's her. I have to go back and like read that issue. And they're like, well, it's a nice dress, and it's like like where'd you get that? And it's like, oh well, it was delivered to me. So I figured that that Batman had bought it, and he's like, no, he's like, where's Plastic Man? And she looks, and next thing you see is like her choking like the edge of the dress, and it wasn't a dress at all; it was Plastic Man, and you can see like his head.
That's
he's, like,
awesome.
choking it.
And that was Morrison's run.
It was but I think Mark Waid had written that as it was like a fill-in issue or one of those because it wasn't a Howard Porter. He didn't draw it. I think it was like Perillo or one of them that had drawn that.
Huh.
It was just like a one-shot thing. I'm pretty sure it was one shot, but yeah. Or it's not one shot, but it's like a single issue story.
I like it.
But yeah, it was kind of cool. And just the idea that like Batman's like, oh yeah, he said I could borrow his identity just so we could do this. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so sorry. So you have one now, right? After Nuisance, who do you have?
Yeah, let me see here. I have them written down. Okay. If anybody's ever played the Lego games, like the Marvel Lego games, you know how you can kind of make your own characters anyway that are like amalgams because you can build all the pieces and stuff. And so this is another time where I was just kind of playing around with it. And
Superheroes in New York?
Like, I had Spider-Man and I mixed him up with Ghost Rider, like on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think he looks cool, man. Because, like, there's some crossover there. It's like where like the webbing would be chains, where he's like flying through the air and stuff, and like he's got like the flame head, but he still has the big eyes, you know, and like but they're kind of like blacked in, and like the white skull, like almost like a reverse spider type thing.
So you drew a picture of this?
No, I just saw it in my head. It was more like from the game itself because it was already done. Because you have the pieces and you can change the colors and stuff, and like so I just thought it'd be kind of cool. Like maybe Ghost Rider was dying, he had to find somebody to pass the power to, and like you know, I don't think if he stared into Peter Parker's eyes, the penance stare would do too much to him, except for maybe Uncle Ben. You know, it's like I mean. He's tried to do good his whole life, and I think it would be the right person to, you know, I could see him being a spirit of vengeance.
I can see that.
Yeah, because he's not a bad guy.
So his name would be like Ghost Spider?
I called it Spider Ghost, but yeah. Because only Ghost Spider's already Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, okay.
Spider Rider?
It's late. I don't take sarcasm that well. I was looking at the TV, too, at Wildcats, the terrible cartoon. We have it on silent.
Yeah. Wildcats cartoon, it's so bad.
It's mesmerizing. I can't look away though.
It sure selling no Bruno the Kid, that's for sure. But
to be fair, I did come up with this before they came up with Ghost Spider.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just putting out there. Spider Rider could be good. Just
Spider Rider.
Spider Rider. Yeah.
No, that sounds horrible.
It does.
Where would you put the saddle? I mean, no, that just sounds bad.
Yeah, that would be. So mine is, and I'll do this one here. It was, and I had a name for it, but I didn't write it down. And then I kept trying to think of what the cool name for him would be. I couldn't think of anything. But it's a mashup of Superman and Gladiator, from the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. Gladiator, which we've talked about several times before, and Gladiator is basically Superman anyway. But I just thought that what if they were both combined, and but then when you combine that, just mash them together, you're also kind of creating a new origin for them. And so with this one, you give them an origin that's more related to how Gladiator's powers work. So in this one here, and I'm just gonna call him Gladiator because I had another name for him, I just can't think of what it is now. Super Radiator, or something like that. Anyway,
Super Gladiator would be horrible.
Super Gladiator,
yeah,
it would be horrible. Super Gladiator.
I was just being nice.
Super Gladiator. Satiator.
That sounds perverse.
Gladiman. I don't know. But so the because his name was I'm calling him, was it Kent Clark or something like that, or K Lark or something. But anyway, so his spaceship crashes to Earth when he's a kid, and he's found, and he has these beliefs that he has abilities, that he has superpowers, and he can do these things. Like for sometimes he kind of just like his mind just kind of runs wild. As a kid, he's very imaginative, and he thinks he has these superpowers, and he's fighting bad guys. And so he's going through seeing a psychiatrist, and they're trying to explain to him that no, you're just delusional, you're mentally divergent, and you actually don't have any superpowers. But that's the thing; it's just like Gladiator's weakness, where as long as he believes that he can do it, and he can beat this guy, he's that strong. He is. So when he starts to doubt himself, that his powers will wane. So in this case, when he believes that he has superpowers, he does. He actually has superpowers, but the antipsychotic medicine, things that he's taking, that he struggles sometimes with whether he really does have powers or if it's just all part of his head. But when he does, and there's like a little bit of century thrown in here, when he does believe he has superpowers and they're actually working, it also brings out a villain or an adversary. So that's normally who he fights, but the adversary only appears when his powers, quote, are working. And then this person appears, so it's almost like they're tied to him, much in the way of like the century thing. So is this kid thinking we get the story when he's like a teenager, so he thinks he has powers sometimes, but other times he doesn't, but he's struggling. But then when he does have powers, he actually are fighting bad guys and saving people, or is he really? So I just thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of take the two of those and kind of mash them together like that.
Yeah, I can see it.
It would be a different kind of story though. You would have to have like a you would almost have to have like a Grant Morrison type writer of that. I could think of so one of the writers I think is really underrated. I know a lot of people are gonna be like you're not underrated at all, but you don't see their name all over the place. Brian Azzarello. I really like him, and I think he could probably really do well with the story like that.
Yeah. No, it's got all the elements there.
Who do you have?
This one's like two Marvel characters. I put Damon Hellstrom and Immortal Hulk together. Immortal Hellstrom.
Hellstrom and Hulk.
Yeah, I thought that'd be kind of cool, like because there's already a Hell Hulk, but like I thought it'd be kind of cool if like Banner was in Hell, and like because they're part of the Defenders, and Damon had to go down and like barter for his soul, and the only way he could really get him out of there is if they combined, and so like and of course eventually they'd end up separating, but like I just kind of had that visual in my head of like the Hulk with the Son of Satan tattoo. And like the fire hair, and like instead of being green, maybe have him being like a orangish color, because he's been red, but like an orange, and with like some yellow eyes. I thought that would be kind of cool, and like with powers and like fire coming off him, I think that would just be super badass. Pretty much just the visuals I was going for, but since they've got teammates, they got history. It makes sense why he'd want to protect them, and like that's pretty much where I was going with it.
That's kind of interesting. I like when we take something like that and we put them in a situation where they normally you wouldn't find them.
Exactly.
Like, here's something that you wouldn't really find them in. That'd be kind of like just see how they work and how they do. Which I think is one of the things that people are really digging about Al Ewing's like Immortal Hulk runs. Like we've never seen the Hulk like this before. We've never seen him have to deal with these kind of things, and it's a whole new concept. And it's just seeing how they take that on, how they interact with those kind of elements.
And Defenders pretty much dealt with the supernatural demonic forces. Mm-hmm. That's what they took on. So it kind of makes sense that they would go there because they always kind of end up there anyway. So
it's weird how that book kind of slowly transitioned towards that because it didn't start out that way.
Yeah, it was like it started going to the cult big time near the end.
I remember I had one of the issues and it was like the Defenders versus the Six-Fingered Hand, and I was like, what? And I wish I hadn't gotten rid of all my old Defenders because I was like, I'm not really interested in reading any of this occult crap. But then it was actually like a really good story and really good book, and I was like, crap, I wish I hadn't gotten rid of that stuff and I never even read it, but I just always heard it was really, really good. What
was good was Elvis's run on Hellstrom. Like, I had some of those. I think I had all of them actually, and I sold them a while back, and like, long ways back. And I kind of wish I'd never gotten rid of them because like, they were going for some money at one point. I was like, I'll just take the money. But they were I think they've just come out with the omnibus of it. I might get it.
Did they was this a new thing or was this
the old series, like when he came out with Zone, the 90s?
Okay.
Yeah, because he took over the last 6 issues, I think, maybe 7. But it ended abruptly, like because they canceled it.
Yeah. And
it just ended like just out of nowhere, and those were really good issues, man.
That was that Strange Tales imprint, wasn't it? Because they had like a Man Thing that was by was it Liam Sharp was doing Man Thing?
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
I'm thinking, was it Dave Mateus that was doing that? It was somebody, and then they had the Hellstrom, and I think there was supposed to be a book that was supposed to come out. It was like Lilith. There was one of those, and it never came out.
Like Liam Sharp, man, have you seen his stuff lately, man? It's incredible. Like he did a Brave and the Bold run, and then he's doing Green Lantern with Morrison.
Oh yeah.
And his art's just crazy good, man. I mean, he's grown a lot.
Yeah, he did. So his Hulk stuff back in the day was pretty good.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that and thinking about that, I think Lilith book, which I think was written by Ellis, that never came out. Do you remember like a couple years ago there was supposed to be a Blade comic coming out? It was Blade's daughter. It was solicited, and then at the last minute it got pulled and supposed to be postponed. But I think it just got straight up shelved. But there was supposed to be a Blade book coming out about Blade's daughter. And I remember when I realized, like, how in the hell would Blade have a daughter? First off, vampires can't have kids. Second, like, who did he like knock up and like how what? And I was like, okay. And then the book never came out. So if it did come out eventually, I'd never heard of it. But I remember when it was solicited that there was supposed to be such a thing, and then it just disappeared.
No, I didn't. I never knew about that.
Okay, so here's what I was toying around with earlier that I hadn't written down yet, but I think it's a pretty interesting concept. I don't have a name for it though, but it's basically a combination of She-Hulk and Power Girl. So as Kara Zor-El's ship is coming towards when it leaves the planet, it unfortunately gets hit hard with pieces of Krypton. So basically her ship's peppered with kryptonite, which has an adverse effect on her, changed like her skin color and kind of just altering her body. So when her ship does eventually crash land on Earth, she's got kind of like Superman thing, but with the exposure to kryptonite, it does kind of change her some, so that she can change into like this green monster-like character, almost like the Hulk, where she doesn't have control over it. So she's still like Kara, but she's weakened as Kara. She's a little bit stronger as the Hulk, but she turns green because of the kryptonite that's now kind of embedded in her. That's also what drives her crazy and kind of makes her lose control and Hulk out, and go a little bit more savage. So yeah, so it's basically Kara Zor-El and She-Hulk, and she just loses control sometimes depending on what's going on. Maybe she doesn't get enough sunlight, or who knows what. Maybe she gets too much sunlight, since that's what powers her. Like too much of that can cause the Hulk in her to come out.
So the She-Hulk kind of goes. She-Hulk part of her kind of goes crazy when she has a long hard rock shoved into her. Was that where you're going with that?
If people stare at her green boob window too much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So.
No, I like it. That's cool. I mean, I like Power Girl and She-Hulk. I like She-Hulk a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that'd be kind of neat to kind of combine the two of them like that.
Yeah, I like it. This one's kind of weak. Like, it's not the best in the world, but it's well, you've already mentioned. I pretty much did Silver. I did Silver Cat. It's Catwoman and Silver Sable. but it's like
Silver Cat sounds like it's like a Star comic.
But it's kind of cool though, because like you could see the silver in like that design of the cat girl costume. Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of neat, and she had guns and stuff. Cindy Kyle's, that's really all she's missing is like, get rid of that whip, shoot some people. It's like it'd be kind of dope, like to see her, like, and maybe have even the white hair. Like it'd be a cool visual.
Would she still be a thief?
I'd see her more like a spy type deal. Like maybe she crossed over, like where she was like Selena Kyle was over in the Marvel verse, and she needed to, fight for her life for whatever reason you had set up. But like yeah, I guess you just have characters pop in your head and like see how they mismatch. That was one of my weaker ones too.
That's interesting though. I can see that. I mean, that kind of lines itself up pretty well. I think the Catwoman and Silver Sable. Silver Sable's kind of underrated. I always liked her.
Yeah, she took a while to grow on me, but I like her a lot better than I used to.
I think the first time I ever saw her was in those McFarlane Spider-Man issues.
Yeah.
So, and then she had a comic book for a short time. It was like Silver Sable and the Wild Pack.
Yeah,
something like that.
They've been showing that issue where Venom crossed over, because he crossed over in everything in the 90s,
mm-hmm.
and like I don't think it's worth anything, but like I've seen that a couple places here recently. I kind of want to just check it out, just because advertising works.
Well, who used to be a part of? I believe they used to be a part of Silver Sable's team.
It's like Johnny Quest, man. Sorry, Wildcats.
I believe that Sandman used to be a part of the team for a while. It was like not Solo, it was Paladin, and I think Sandman were a part of her team.
That's not bad.
No.
You got any more, man?
Oh yeah, I got a couple more. So so this one I actually I had a pretty decent idea for. We have not taken a break. So before I go into that, let's just take a small break here, and then we'll come back and I'll do a couple more, and you'll do a couple more.
After these messages.
You're supposed to say, no, a word from our sponsor. No, you can say
Here's something you really like.
I see, that's a good one. Okay, so yeah, break.
We're back.
No, yeah, we haven't gone anywhere yet.
Oh. Well, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me?
Now we're back.
We're back.
Now do it like you did the first time.
We're back.
There you go. God is in his holy temple. Okay, so my turn, eh?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the Executioner. So the Executioner is a combination of the Punisher and Judge Dredd.
I like it.
So in this one, so Frank Castle, or sorry, not Frank Castle. I guess he can be Frank Castle because Dredd doesn't really have a name. He's just Dredd. But he is was in the military and is part of a special like platoon or group or whatever that works for the government, and they're going to California because there's this domestic terrorist group that have these nuclear weapons, and they're threatening to set them off, and they're going in there to stop it. So they go there and they get to where the bombs are supposed to be, but there aren't any bombs. And then you realize that it's Frank and four members of his group. You realize that there aren't any bombs because the four guys in his group, they've all turned, and they didn't have bombs. The whole thing's a setup. They were going over there actually to get the nuclear bombs. But they made it seem like, and did this whole setup to make it seem like they already had the bombs. So then they ended up going over there and they ended up getting them. And the one guy ends up saving Frank's life because he's supposed to die because obviously they can't get away with it. With their squad leader is is the good guy and they're all bad guys. So he ends up saving his life because he's like, I didn't really want you to die, or I didn't want to shoot you in the back. I thought you at least deserved a chance. So when they try to hold the rest of America hostage, the government says, no, it's not going to happen. And then they actually detonate the bombs themselves. The government does. And so Frank is actually in he's not in suspended animation. He's kind of like in a bunker for he wakes up and he's trapped in this bunker for a couple years. He finally ends up getting out, and he wakes up into this world where it's slightly ravaged because of the nuclear bombs, and he doesn't realize where he is at first. He thinks the whole world was blown up. Then he realizes that he's in what's left of California, which has now been completely separated from the U.S. It's its own kind of like little land, almost like an Escape from New York thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Escape from New York.
Or Escape from L.A. And it's ruled by these four judges, which are the four guys. New York and then L.A.
Yeah.
So it's ruled by the four guys who used to be on his squad that turned against him, and they're the four judges, and they rule over everything. Each one kind of in their own territory, and so if they're the judges, then he's going to be the executioner, and so he's setting out to go and stop them and bring whatever they have to an end. But he also doesn't realize that he can't leave. Like anybody that's there in what's left of California, you're stuck there. Yeah. Like no one goes in, no one goes out. So even if he takes them down, he's not going to be able to restore that back. He's not going to be able to become a part of the country as he used to know it. But he can't let that lawlessness there exist, and so he goes out. And then of course the judges are all going to be named after the characters themselves. Like you'll have Judge Death and this, and then all. God, that makes no sense. And all that. So, yep. So I thought that might be kind of cool, like a different take. And then he's called the executioner because, if you're caught, you're tried, and then you go before the judge, and then the executioner's the final one. So he has to be above them as far as, that goes. So yeah, he's the executioner. But he's a combination of Judge Dredd and Frank Castle, the Punisher.
At first I thought you were going to say Scourge in there. And then executioner, remember in the martial law, they had that executioner. He was basically the Punisher. Like when they were all in the insane asylum and the Avengers were all locked up and stuff.
God, that's such a good.
I know.
You can't abuse my power like this. When they're roasting the guy over the Human Torch. Oh man, that's good.
This one you might like or you might hate, but like this is a DC Marvel one. I call him Wild Wonder, and it's Wonder Man and Wildfire from Legion of Superheroes because it's a containment suit.
I was gonna say the Wildfire was a containment suit.
Yeah. So and then you know how he's pure energy. So it's like if he lost kind of control of that, he'd have to go inside the suit and like basically just combo the two, and like
nice.
Kind of like it works, because like he could still use his powers and be inside the suit and still be self-contained. If he couldn't maintain his shape anymore, because for whatever reason they're crossed over, it would maybe destabilize him for the worlds combined. So yeah,
there were two characters in Stormwatch that were like that. Like one was Fuji, who looked like you would think he was kind of like a sumo wrestler. He was like a big guy, but he didn't have like real feet and hands. His feet were like stumps.
Yeah.
And then his hands were, I think he had like maybe 3 fingers, like they're big blocky fingers or something like that. And then the other one was like Hellfire, something like that. Anyway, he was Scottish, I think.
That's fun.
Or I think he was Scottish because I think Winter was Russian. Anyway, so but they actually were both guys in containment suits. And the one guy was like was nothing but energy. Because his suit got ruptured at one point, and he basically was kind of locked in, almost like Doom Patrol with Negative Man, where he was like in this room until they could make him a new containment suit, just so he didn't end up just scattering everywhere. And I like Wonder Man. I love that when they how they brought him back. In the was it the Mark Waid?
Yeah, where he was like just all like purple energy.
Yeah. I actually had an idea for bringing him back like a long time ago, which is kind of like that. But the story idea I had was going back to the Emperor Doom graphic novel, where the only reason that Wonder Man was not affected by the effects of the Purple Man when Doom took over was because he was in like this like almost like hyperbaric chamber type thing, because Tony Stark was he was running some tests on him to see how he worked and all that. And then when everything went down and Tony like left the station where he was doing all the testing, he ended up staying in the thing for too long, and he ended up getting out on his own. And he was like, "Hey, where is everybody?" So knowing that Tony had all that data, and Wonder Man is nothing but just pure ionic energy, that that research base that Tony was using, there's basically a big like energy collection dish, and they already had his DNA, so it knows which pieces of the ionic energy has that DNA marker attached to it. And so it slowly, this thing was just pulling in all those little pieces of energy and was putting them in and basically collecting them all to try and bring Wonder Man back. But because ionic energy is spreading everywhere, it couldn't just do it just in one big thing. It just had to, like, as those pieces came together, it was able to kind of pull them, collect them. And so it had been doing that over time. No one knew he was doing it. They've been doing it over time, and then one day it actually pulled in either enough that he could pull the rest of it himself, or had pulled it all in, and then it was able to reconstitute Wonder Man.
That's cool.
Anyway, all right. So whose turn is it? Oh, it's mine, isn't it? Because you just did. Just did yours.
Oh, but before you start, like they've been talking about playing Wonder Man in the movies. They've been throwing out.
Well, Wonder Man he's in a deleted scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
He's technically not. It's a movie poster that's on a wall, and Wonder Man is played. Well, Simon Williams is played by Nathan Fillion.
That's who they were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've been talking about Nathan Fillion. I didn't know that he was in anything though.
Yeah, he's.
But it's deleted. That's why I don't know about it. So.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a movie. There's a movie poster for like some movie with Simon Williams, and he's in it.
I think that's a perfect casting, to be honest with you. I could see him doing it.
Yep. I mean, he did a really good job. In the first Guardians.
Born as the angel. The guy.
David Boreanaz. Yeah.
Like he could I could see him pulling it off too.
I don't really know much about him. All I know of him is just Angel, and that's not really a show I ever watched. So
he's a pretty good actor. So is it?
I think it's Michael. You said
Yeah.
You said Wild Thing, didn't you? No, what's his name?
Wild
Wonder.
Thing. Bow, bow, bow.
Wild Thing was a MC2 or was it M2? I think it's MC2. Wolverine's daughter.
Yeah.
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 You know, that wasn't bad. That Spider Girl and the Wild Thing books. J2 was kind of meh. That had what Ron Lim art, didn't it? J2.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but I don't think I ever bought it.
Yeah, you had the was it Pat Olaf Spider Girl story, and then you had J2 I think was Ron Friends, and then Wild Thing was I think Ron Lim. There were a couple others from that, but I don't remember that well. Anyway,
she liked to do the wild thing. Please, baby, please.
I'm not singing that song.
You don't like Tone Loc?
No, I like Tone Loc Fine, which is that I don't like songs about like what he likes his songs to be about. Well, he didn't write them. Like Young MC wrote them. So.
Oh, did he? It's funny.
All right, so mine is. I don't really know what I want to carry the character. It's either going to be Night Devil or Devil's Wing. You know what that is, right?
Daredevil and Nightcrawler?
Nope.
Daredevil and Nighthawk?
Either Night Devil or Devil's Wing.
Oh, are you serious? I had to sign it out. So Nightwing and Daredevil, huh?
I love how you put that together. You're like, Nightwing.
Hey, man, I'm tired. You stay up later than me. I'm an old man. Play your mind games with me.
So Night Devil or Devil's Wing. He was in the circus. And his family were acrobats, and
Satanists.
His family was beaten to death by a boxer.
He jumped up and punched them in midair.
Yeah, because they refused to throw an acrobatic trick. This was like a triple Lindy, and they refused to miss and hit the net, and so he beat him to death, and he watched it, and he's not really blind. He has that mental blindness where he thinks he can't see, and so all his other senses have to. That's the thing. Like, he thinks he's blind. He thinks all his other senses have gotten stronger to compensate for it, but really he can see, but he just thinks he can't. So he thinks all of his other senses are just stronger. And that's why he's like, oh, I know that I can tell this is a $green bill. It's like, well, yeah, not really. No, I'm joking. That's not what the character is, but that would be funny though. Yes, it's not like he's like playing other people, just pulling a joke on him. Like, he actually thinks because of his like mental condition that he really can't see.
I thought you were gonna say like he secretly ran like a Buffalo Wild Wings on the side. The Devil Wings.
Devil Wings.
You bite into him, it's like cartoon. The fire comes out your ears.
Yeah, it's just like I hate those hot sauce in people's face.
You blind me, bastard!
I bit my wrist so I can die. That was not the right thing to say for this one.
Here's some of my spicy sauce. What? Night
Devil or Devil's Wing. Again, his parents died in a acrobatic mishap, and I was actually going to say that it was one of those like big family stunts. He survived, but he had damage to his head, which blinded him. And of course other senses kick in. He ends up developing this radar sense, and then he goes and he fights. Just basically, it's a combination of Nightwing and Daredevil. So you don't go the whole Daredevil route. You stick more of like the Nightwing route, which really is not that much different from Daredevil. It's just not having Batman around.
Yeah.
But but you're just basically it's Nightwing with a radar sense.
Okay, that's cool. I have a villain. The Jester. You want to guess who that is?
The Jester. Let's see. It's going to be the Joker. And
somebody from Marvel.
Madcap.
Arcade.
Oh. Well, those would be super deadly traps, man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You probably die just before you even get in there.
Yeah. You just be laughing all year. Ah, ha, ha, ha. So basically, you get the gist of that. If you know who Arcade is, he creates these like super elaborate setups, like where he
Ka-tang!
kills people like for pay, and the Joker would just do it for fun. You know, he just set up like all these like super elaborate setups for just to kill heroes.
So it'd be interesting if he like made like these like amusement park things so for like ordinary people.
Yeah.
You know, like he just sneaks into Disney World one day and like rigs up it's a small world, and next thing you know.
You just see like an amusement park ride. Well, they would never let you do it with like you're just riding around, and then all of a sudden it turns into razor blades. Ah! And you just But yeah, they're similar. You know, they both smile and they're all maniacal and stuff. So they kind of got some crossover there.
No, I like it. I think it's kind of funny. I think that would be. I mean, that's when you said arcade, I was like, oh wait, that's pretty cool. I mean, I could see that really working. Like the death traps would be a lot more elaborate. It'd almost be like Saw for superheroes.
Yeah, and then minus the elevator shoes.
No, Batman anime series, the Cape and Cowl Conspiracy. You remember that one?
Which one's that?
It's the one where the guy is really kind of cool. He kept like luring Batman to these traps because he was he had made a deal with somebody that he could get Batman's cowl and they were gonna like buy it from him. And I forget who it was, maybe the Joker, but they were gonna buy it from him. So he kept setting up all these like these little traps, and Batman kept falling into them, thinking he was going to save people. And the guy was like, all you need to do, Batman, is just give me your cowl and I'll let you go, or this. And the one thing he takes, and this is like the really coolest part, he takes off his cowl to give to the guy, and you think you're going to see his face, but underneath it, he has face matte or like a wrap like Zorro. So under his cowl, he had like a sash bandana thing wrapped over his head like Zorro, which is kind of cool considering the movie he saw when he was a kid, when his parents were killed.
You know, I just learned this recently. You know what Zorro means in Spanish?
What?
The fox.
Ah.
I never knew that. Who let the Zorro out?
Who?
Let's see. Well, Doomside. It's Dr. Doom and Darkseid, and I pretty much just see this as like Doom's intelligence mixing with like Apocalypse's like physical presence, and I mean he's smart on his own, and so you imagine both of them together, and then like they find out the anti-life equation, and I just kind of picture this whole series of events where pretty much it's just the end. I mean they unleash it, and maybe instead of like that blackness that took over everything in Crisis, I see like you would think anti-life equation would be black, but I think it would be because like black is void of color and white is all color, so I can almost see like a whiteness, and just like you see all these pages where these people are like you just see this explosion from like where they unleash it, where it's like every universe is just disappearing, and you see people in mid-sentence just getting cut off, and you're thinking there's going to be hope, and you even see heroes coming in to fight it, and it's not going to happen. It's over.
Just gone.
And they just keep page after page after page after page of just universe after universe. All these characters throughout the like. What?
I thought when you were describing how they're going to be fading away, you said page after page. I was thinking you're going to pull like a John Byrne, like page after page of blank pages. No, universes are all gone.
No. I was going to say like it's going to keep going. I mean, like it's going to go Marvel, DC. It's everybody. They're just disappearing. All the heroes, all the things that you thought were great, the things that mattered to you all these years, all these characters, all these moments, and they're just gone. And then like you get all the way to Apocalypse, and it crosses over to Thangarians, and then like the Skrulls, and you just see them all just disappear, and it finally gets to Apocalypse and Darkseid, and then you go Doomside is no more, and it's just done, and then after that there's a couple blank pages, and then it's over.
Can I draw those?
Yeah, no, but I mean, but the thing is, you would have lots of art, but it's just crumbling,
Right.
and you think there's going to be hope. It's done, man. I mean, it's over.
Did you ever watch the the DC cartoon, the Crisis on Two Earths?
No.
You ever seen that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's because of that cartoon that I bought a Owlman statue, because that cartoon was so awesome. Plus, Owlman is voiced by, I think, James Woods, but it like in it, because it's the was it Sinister Syndicate?
Yeah, I like them. I've
And-
seen stuff with them in it before, but not that.
Well, maybe we'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was really good. But anyway, Owlman is with was it Power Princess, and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, there's all these multiverses out there, and they all basically spawned from one. There's had to be one original universe that then created the decision tree that all the other ones are going to broke off from. He's like, so if I can find that one Earth, then the prime one, the one that started everything, and I destroy it, it'll destroy all the other multiverses too.
Yeah.
And she's like, and he goes, and now in life, like everywhere, like throughout all the universes that are in life, including this one. And she's like, oh, okay, I could be into that. And I'm like, what, dude? You're just playing evil, man. I mean, he doesn't even care about himself. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to destroy all life everywhere, including my own. And okay, that's cool.
Yeah, like they were in Justice League Unlimited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's where I saw the cartoon of them like in it. Thought that was pretty good.
I think they were.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've seen them in something. If it wasn't that, I don't know what else it could have been.
But that has one of the coolest. The Crisis on Two Earths has one of the coolest Batman moments ever. And at first, I was really disappointed because I was like, this is nothing like the Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely graphic novel. But the movie, I was like, oh, okay, no, this is pretty good. But that cartoon has hands down one of the best Batman moments ever. Just like I always thought that the best Wolverine moment in a movie was when it's like, I'm Professor Charles Xavier, and this is my friend. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
that was like, oh yeah, that's a defining Wolverine. You've encapsulated everything that Wolverine is, and that's one thing that you haven't done in any of the other movies. And I thought that this one has such a great Batman moment. It's without fathom. But yeah, it's really good. And it made me an Owlman fan, and that's why I bought that Owlman statue. I was like, that thing's so nice. And when I say
Owlman statue, I don't see.
It's right there.
Oh, I have to get my glasses.
See the black hand Batman
Uh-huh.
at the very top, right behind him is Owlman.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I see him now. Yeah. No, I like the character too. He's dark Batman.
Okay, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, yep. So that like I said, I think it's a really cool cartoon, and it's got some really interesting like scenes in there with Batman and the rest of Justice League, where when Lex Luthor comes over, or Alexander Luthor comes to their world and is like, hey, I need your help because in my world you guys are all evil. And Superman says, we gotta go help him. And Batman's like, that's their Earth problem. That's not our problem. He's like, we've got problems here that we can't deal with. We're not going to go over to somebody else's Earth and help them out when we haven't fixed our own problems here. He's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And they're like, but he needs our help. It's like, people here need our help too. It's like, it's kind of a really interesting conversation between the two of them. I mean, they both make good points, but it's kind of interesting to see that they're like, not just like, oh, someone's in trouble, let's just go. All right, so my last one that I have here is Cyber Knight.
Cyber Knight. Is Cable part of it?
It is.
Cable and Batman?
Nope.
Cable and Night.
I changed the name around a little bit instead of just matching two names.
Knighthd?
Yep.
Cyber Knight. Black Knight?
Nope.
Cyber. Why can't I get this?
What about
So wait a minute. Is it a DC character?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Cyber.
So if you take a squirt bottle, but you make it to like a fine spray, they call that fine spray
Mist.
And then the last name is
Misty Knight?
No, that's right.
I was going to say, man. I was like, that would be weird, man. But I guess that could work. I mean, you can make her a female.
Plus she's not DC. I was just saying, I was just being a jerk to this. Then
Knight. But if it's not Batman,
Knight actually has nothing to do with the other character.
Okay.
I just had to change her name.
Her name?
Their name.
Well, you just go ahead and tell me. I don't know.
Cyborg. I just had to create the Knight because I couldn't call him like anything else. Didn't make any sense. I mean, like technically he's already cyborg. No matter what you do, he's already cyborg. So I just call him cyborg again. Just didn't really work. Okay. So like, what can I call him? Cyber something. Cyber boy. Cyber man.
Cable and cyborg. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really simple.
So is it Nathan Summers or is it Vic Stone?
It's Vic Stone, but like Cable kind of is like a robot. He comes back, but he's like a techno-organic, almost like a Terminator type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like a techno-organic being. So he comes back and he ends up merging. Instead of killing him, he ends up merging with him, and that gives him the cybernetic components. So you take like this Terminator, like endoskeleton, and it merges with the guy, and that's what makes him a cyborg. But and he's came back in the past to try to prevent his future. So still kind of the whole Cable thing, but now you got the cyborg deal with it, and this thing kind of bonds into him because it needs like a symbiote, kind of like host deal or whatever, you make it all up as you go along. But I thought, like, well, what if I just made Cable and Cyborg like this one person? They've still got the cybernetics, but then you've got this other component with it as well, and then give him make him like a time traveling type deal.
The Cable guy. No, I can see that. No, I like it. I can see that.
What else you got?
Let's see. I don't think I have too many more. Was that your last one?
That was my last one.
Well, I guess I got a couple more, but they're not. I can go through them for pretty fast. Electromagnus.
So Elektra and Magneto.
Electro and Magneto. Electromagnetic pulse. Like I was thinking, like you combine the two powers together, that'd be kind of powerful force.
That'd be too powerful.
I know, but it's pretty dope though. I thinking especially with this whole Krakoa thing, if like he wasn't even part, like they're really pushing the whole separate part of like these gods among men, and like they're not really seen as people like as worthy as them. It's like the strong survival of the fittest. Like I could see him just going full tilt, just like, hey, I'm just gonna take your electro powers and like and with my magnetic powers and basically just destroy it. And what's cool is for like epsilon in the Greek letter is E, so you could turn that M, like like that'd be kind of dope.
Electromagnetic.
Yeah.
He'd be so powerful, man. God.
I know. Wouldn't that be awesome though?
So check this out. He could then take Wolverine's body and just electrocute him from the inside.
Yeah.
God, that'd be.
He could control basically like he could polarize and move like atoms.
Yeah.
I mean, he could at a molecular level. He could just destroy the planet. I mean, he that's what I'm saying. He'd basically be like the ultimate. That's why it's Electromagnus. He's the best. I mean, like that. There's really nothing that could stop him.
I mean, he could get you satellite radio on your braces. Like the radio waves. People like their brace would pick them up. They were really close to towers, and it was cranked up really high. So yeah, he could get you satellite radio on your braces. That
I saw the Spin Doctors live in '93, man. But when I heard it through,
what did you do? What'd you do?
Then through my braces, like never heard him until I heard him that way. No, I've never seen the Spin Doctors.
I was gonna say you must have done something really bad for your parents to punish you like that.
No, I would never see the Spin Doctors.
God, they freaking Spin Doctors. If you want to have me, baby, go ahead. God. Oh man, I tell you what, the absolute worst concert, absolute worst concert that I think you could ever put on would be to put like the Spin Doctors and Hootie and the Blowfish together.
Hootie.
I hate Hootie and the Blowfish.
Your legendary Hootie hatred.
and put them together with oh crap, what was the name of that one band? I hate them so much. They only had one song too, and I still hate them. Crash Test Dummies.
Oh,
yes.
the Dumb and Dumber song. I had a friend that loved that song. I was like, why? That's horrible.
Oh yeah. Once there was this kid who got into it. And I said, shut up! The only way I'd even listen to that song is if it was a spoken word version by William Shatner. I'd put that on my phone.
Of what?
Like that song, the spoken word version by William
Shatner. That would be. I don't think the world could exist after that happened. I think it would just explode.
There was this kid who got into an accident. Yeah, see, man, oh man, I'm getting tingles. All right, so
we just need to do a Shatner greatest hits of Cypress Hill. This is something I can't understand. How could just kill a man?
See, he changes to how I could just kill a Vulcan.
No, that's true.
He was fighting with Spock. How I could just kill a Vulcan. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, what you
okay. Crowbo. It's Crow and Lobo. Okay, and here's just go with me. I actually kind of think this would be kind of cool, and I don't want to make light. I know the Crow's a deep, dark story where like personal loss and everything, but like we're going for spoof factor here because we're talking about Lobo. So I'm not trying to discredit the original source because I really like Crow a lot, but like basically like Lobo's all about like breaking the barriers and just knocking things down anyway. So here's the thing: taking a twist on his origin, right?
Okay.
Where they have the bacteria that. So basically, like he's an innocent. I see him walking around. So you've never really seen his planet, at least the stories I've read. I've never seen the home planet and like what he looked like and everything.
Of a Lobo?
The Zarnian and all that stuff.
You see it briefly in the Lobo miniseries when he talks about the plague of flesh-eating locust things that he created, and you see like a couple panels where the people are being eaten up by them.
Okay, well, like here's the thing though. It's like, but you can always retroactively. That's what he told you then. But you can always retroactively say, well, that's not really what happened. Because, like, I kind of picture him like a thespian type, like with the big collars and stuff. And, like, he's got, like, the big poofy. And, like, so he's completely opposite of what you think he is. And so he gets tricked into letting that virus out by somebody else. And so he's all torn and, like, it's kind of making fun of Crow, but not trying to make fun of Crow because, I mean, right. I don't want to be disrespectful. But it's like, but like, he's such the opposite of that character. But he's like talking to skulls, He's like he's saying he's like the bard, It's like
Clayface from the Harley Quinn series.
Yeah. He's just like he's torn up inside because he's lost everything. He got tricked into killing everybody. But here's the thing: spirit of vengeance, Crow. So he gets that, and he gets his powers, and then he's still like dark and tormented and stuff, and he's taking out his captors. But then like when he finally in his head. You have this moment where he's faced with the entity of the Crow, and he just shoots him, He's just like, he's done. And then he becomes the Lobo that we know and love,
Oh, so he
kills the, like, oh, I'm all torn up inside, and then he just goes badass and just goes ballistic on everybody. So that's kind of how I was playing it out. Like, where it's a mixture of serious, but not serious at the same time because it's Lobo.
Gotcha.
And so... I think that's pretty much, well, and I've talked about this before. I call it merge, or hammer space would be kind of cool, because you guys did even talk about that at one point.
Yeah, Akumi likes hammer space.
But think about it. I've always thought the weapons combining would be kind of cool, like Mjolnir, Toomey, the Golden Lasso, the Trident from like Aquaman. You could have Doctor Strange's cloak, the Batarangs, pumpkin bombs, web shooters, bow and arrows, maybe even have the cloak mixed in with like Cloak's cloak, like where they could hide everything, where they could go, just kind of a mixture of all that stuff, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got Superboy Prime and Supreme. I call him Supreme.
Oh, and you forgot about mine. The other one I had earlier, I came up with before we started the. Deathstroke and Taskmaster?
Deathstrike.
I like my other name.
What?
The Deathstroke and Taskmaster, Strokemaster.
Oh, Strokemaster. No, but but that was when you had like you were talking about doing Deathstroke and Wolverine. I think that's good, and calling him Deathstrike. I think that actually would work.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. And there's a couple more I could think of, but I didn't really get a chance to really dig into it the way I wanted to, because I would like to have created some really interesting characters. Like, and there's some people like that you could do something with that you normally don't see. Like if I combined, I don't know. Yeah, you talked about Hellstrom earlier, but if I combine like Damien Hellstrom and like Ragman, or maybe like Ghost Rider and Ragman, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to think about doing somebody like Madcap and a Creeper.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be kind of cool. But then again, that's what goes back to the whole, why am I trying to do like? So when they did like Speed Demon, right? Ghost Rider and Wally West Flash, they're not, they're pretty far away apart as far as it goes, but it's kind of I thought the concept was kind of interesting. Like Iron Lantern, those aren't really connected in any way. So I don't know why I was trying to force it to be one way when I could have just gone and really just like, okay, let's just have fun. Let's like Batman and Cyclops, and he'd be Biclops.
Biclops.
I don't know, but
wow,
something like that. Madcap and Madballs, he'd be Madballs.
Cybat. How about Cybat?
Cybat. Who would that be?
Cyclops and Batman.
I was thinking Psylocke and Batman. And I actually had an idea that I couldn't really flesh out, which was Shadowcat and Catwoman, but then her name would still just be Shadowcat. But I thought that would be kind of cool as her being like a intangible thief.
Yeah, well, that'd be kind of cool.
But still, but then the thing is that just makes it so easy. She's just a thief. It's like, you're intangible, so you're a thief. But yeah, I wasn't able to put as much focus and dedication to it, because or else I would have found something to do with Guy Gardner. I would have. But
yeah, I was like, I just sat down one day and just kind of came up with it really fast. I didn't put too much thought into it, but it's like, it's I think I'm happy with most of mine.
Yeah, I like mine.
I pretty much everyone I came up with, I know I could write a story with it.
Yep.
So.
Except I don't think I can do anything with Nuisance. I'm not quite sure how I could write a story with him.
No.
What would be kind of cool for Nuisance is to give him a kid sidekick, which would just be interesting, because you would think that normally the kid would be like, oh, hey, I'm going to just go all out. I can, anything I think of, this genie type thing can probably give to me. But then you change it around to where like the kid's actually the more mature one. But yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting, and there's so much more you could do with it too. Just combining characters, I wouldn't mind giving it another run, and then changing things around so they wouldn't. So I'm not trying to find like versus like and like to do this, and just really kind of make something special. Because I didn't even touch like some of the main people. Like I did do a Batman, I did do a Captain America, so those kind of guys.
Yeah, the closest I came was like U.S. Agent, who's not Cap. He tries to be, but
yep,
nobody can be Cap.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you all very much for coming and checking us out. My name is Turk182. You can find me on Twitter at Turk182_KE. Where are you at? Wallcrawler One?
Yeah, I'm Wall_Crawler One at Instagram. I've got a page there, and then do you call it page? What do you
have no idea what you call it.
Yeah, whatever. If you want to go there, that's where I post things sometimes, and then it's related to our show. And then I've got up on Comixology, I've got my book Pain and Graves. If you wanted to check that out, it's Payne, and it's my book that I do.
And my fellow collaborator and co-host on Our Moms Think We're Funny, Akomi, sometimes guest on In the Gutters here. He's asked that we promote his OnlyFans. It's just him just licking his fingers, just licking different like things off his fingers, like food, like chicken grease, pizza sauce, pudding, that kind of stuff. That's it. So if that's something that interests you, then you can go ahead and check him out.
I go there at least twice a day.
So
usually I like to go there after I've eaten something and pretend that he's doing it for me.
Oh, see, I never thought about that. I never do that whole thing. He asked me one day if our camera that we use for interviews, if it can do VR, and I'm like, I don't know. That's as far as I would let it go. Just like, I don't know, and he didn't say anything more, and I didn't ask. But yeah, you can check us out here, and we've still got tons and tons and tons of stuff we're going to be talking about. Did I? I know it must have been on the Our Moms Think We're Funny that Akumi and I were talking about that scene from Captain America: Civil War when Spider-Man webs up Falcon, and Falcon says, he's like, "Is that stuff coming out of you?" And I was like, it's a funny line, but then when you think about it, like, wait a minute, that would be kind of serious, like, because I'd want to know, is that stuff coming out of you? If you're just making it up, then that's kind of fun. But if that's actually coming out of you, like, yo, that's disgusting. You gotta get the stuff off of me, man. Like, I don't want that. That's kind of nasty.
That's COVID waiting to happen.
That could be. Yeah, I mean, you never know. He's just sitting there just spraying his bodily fluids all around the place and stuff. Yeah, you nasty, Spider-Man. You and Falcon are nasty.
Now you have a case for masked heroes because it's like, hey, I'm just protecting, you.
Yeah.
It's the law.
That's one thing that I thought might be an interesting podcast topic, which is like right now in a pandemic situation, like what heroes would actually still be able to go out and be a hero? So Batman will find a way to do something, obviously. Spider-Man has a mask on, but would he really be able to go out there and fight and do what he does as Spider-Man, considering that it is a good chance that his mask get knocked off or something.
Would Grifter count? Like with his little bandana thing hanging down?
No.
Like I've seen people doing that. Like, well, like you've been with the mask, man. It's horrible. Like, how do you fight with your mask like over your face? I mean, like that's hard. I can see why Cap has his face open, like in Batman. I mean, I don't see how you do it otherwise. It's horrible. Mm. Or even a helmet. How could you deal with that?
Well, it helps if you're like a 12-foot asthmatic. Yeah, I don't know, but that would be that'd be interesting. So like I said, some people can do it, but then others might. I don't understand how they would be able to. And like Superman would be affected by it more than likely, but that wouldn't stop him from being a carrier. He could pick it up from someone, like It's like I just thought that would be.
You remember I had that whole storyline for Superman, right?
Which one?
Like basically, like Superman. Like, why wouldn't he have a super virus? Let's say it just took this long to develop, and then like all of a sudden it started affecting people. If he's super, so it makes sense that something that would make him sick would definitely destroy us super quick.
Oh yeah. And
then like he couldn't fight that, Like the one thing that it's the irony of him being the one thing that destroy everything. Like and he can't do anything about it. The only thing he could do is go away and hope that it went away somehow.
Yeah, because I mean, the only way you really be able to find any kind of like cure or any things that would help to facilitate a cure would be back on Krypton, but
it's gone. So it's been incubating all this time, and it's had time to develop, and then like it would change so fast and quickly that by the time you come up with something, But then of course Lex would step in and find a way, and he'd be the hero. He's like, I did it. And then you find out it was him all along. It was never Superman. He just made it think that it was Superman, and it made him all bad. Hey, that'd be a cool way to,
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Well, you remember when Lex Luthor died of cancer?
I didn't know he had cancer.
Yeah, that's a funny story. And the reason I bring it up is kind of tied in what you were saying. At one point, Lex Luthor had cancer. He died. He had his body cloned, and his cloned body came back. And I believe he was Australian. And I think that what's his name? Jackson Geiss had drawn some of these issues. His body was cloned, and he came back. Yes, Butch Geiss. I'm American, honey.
I mean, shit.
He had all of his assets transferred over to his twin brother, which was actually him, was this clone body of him, and he had this long red hair too because he could have it now. But and he was dating Supergirl because she didn't know that he was actually Lex Luthor. But the reason that, as I remember, the reason that he got cancer was because Lex Luthor had a ring made out of kryptonite. And it was to keep Superman away. So the piece of kryptonite he took from Metallo's chest, and he had a ring that had kryptonite in it. And one day he was angry at something. He slammed his hand down the table, and he was like, "Oh my God, my hand hurts!" And they went and they did an X-ray and looked at his hand. And it was like, "Oh well, it's because your bones are really weak because kryptonite really emits a low-level radiation that can be deadly to humans, with over prolonged exposure." Since he'd been wearing this ring, it was never taking it off. He was developing cancer from it, and of course they're like, "Well, you got to take the ring off." He's like, "Nope, not doing that." Which is still the same kind of thing that they played into in Batman vs Superman: World's Finest.
I was it kind of reminds me of Dr. Manhattan too a little bit. Where like it just being a long-term exposure of him affected everybody around him.
Well, at least that's what they said.
Yeah.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you all again very much, and we will see you all next time. You got anything to say?
I was just gonna say on In the Gutters, but then you said that, and then
Sorry,
I got nothing now.
All right, so we're out here. Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.